Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Telling Tales. We make atmospheric role-playing games for you here on Twitch, live stream them for your pleasure and horror. And yeah, everyone has just the greatest time. You're watching our ongoing Symbaroum series on Wednesday evenings. We've got a hell of a climactic session coming for you tonight, the end of our story arc of Fear of the Hunt, and everyone is pretty excited about it. Before we get started, the usual stuff. First of all, we have a stream manager. His name is John, and he's going to pop on now so you know what he looks like in case he pops up later and you scream and crash backwards off your chair, not in horror, just kind of, shock and surprise.
I get that reaction a lot.
It could happen. How are you doing tonight, John?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, passable.
Yeah,
so, John's going to be tinkering away behind the scenes, moving around cams, moving around pictures, handling chat, all that kind of thing. And now he will go back to the shadows from whence he came. So, a bunch of promo stuff to do first. If you look below, there's a bunch of links available for you. There's a link to our Twitch and to our YouTube. You're watching this on one of the two. Why not check out the other one? There's a bunch of links to our social media, if that's the kind of thing that interests you. There's a link to our Discord, where you can join up and talk to us about everything roleplay, everything telling tales. And there's also a link to our Patreon if you want to sponsor us further and get lovely treats in return, like character creation videos and news and backstage stuff, all that kind of thing. So check those out if you feel like it. We run 3 weekly... I can't fold one finger back, so you're just going to have to pretend that that's 3. That's 3, okay? We run 3. I can see some of our players shaking their heads at me in the cam below, so I know that this intro is going excellently, as usual. We have 3 weekly shows that we put on, weekly streams, all role play on Monday evenings. There's just a catalogue of people laughing at me at the bottom. On Mondays, we run Call of Cthulhu. That's only really just started. On Tuesdays, we run Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. And on Wednesdays, that's today, we run Symbaroum. All of them start at 8 o'clock GMT. Come join us for all of them. We also have monthly one-shots, kind of longer single-session stories of various systems. We've done Alien already from Fria Ligan. We've done Troika from Milsonian Arts Council. And next, in a couple of weeks' time, on April the 3rd, we're doing Mork Borg, which is also published by Fria Ligan and is like a doom metal album in RPG form. Come join us for that. There'll be lots of horrible things and blood and skulls and stuff. So without any further ado, let's get introducing the players so we can give ourselves a little recap of last week before we get started. And first off, we're going to bring on Mike. Mike plays Anton. Anton is our Theurg of Prios, and a sensible, rational, quite gentle man who I believe we last saw caving in the face of a wolf with a flail.
Yes.
So how did last week go, Mike?
Well, yeah, I mean, it ended quite messily, but aside from all of that, it went fine. We've been in this sort of hill of wonder and disturbing treasure for a while, and we're sort of trying to piece together some different elements that was forming this puzzle, and yeah, it all sort of happened last week. Can we to go through what we did?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Okay, so first of all, we investigated a prospector who disappeared, Arcali. We found his empty claim, and there were some disturbed bricks within it, sort of indicating that he'd sort of found, something underneath the soil there. Then Sikander uncovered something. He's a fire mage, I think, who's also at the site. He uncovered something. He got a bit defensive. He admitted to killing another mage there called Handello, or almost admitted as much. We then got a bit spooked at this point. Ascarai went to go and find his Iron Pact contact, but couldn't find him, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And myself and Steo went to go and find Silvercheek. who sort of runs the camp. We tried to grass up Sikander, and she wasn't that interested because she was in the process of leaving and fleeing. So yeah, and then around that time, things got a little bit
dramatic, climactic, terrifying, all these things. And to talk about that, and if you're wondering why I sound better, it's because I started this stream with my mic in entirely the wrong place and didn't even notice. Not that mic, my mic. Yeah, but it's all good now. So let's bring on Sam, who plays Ascarai, our Changeling Ranger, to talk through what was happening on top of that hill.
So we kind of decided to split up while Anton and Steer looked for Roughneck, I think, or looked for somebody. And I went to get our traveling companions from before we arrived, who had the claim next to us, and our friend Fons. And basically, I kind of walked past Sikander's claim where things seemed to be getting extremely hectic. They'd made some kind of breakthrough, and people were kind of scrambling through a hole in a wall that they'd uncovered. And as I continued round, I think I got to our claim first and saw that people were kind of seemingly coming out of whatever weird enchantment this hill had been putting on people, causing them to dig, in a frenzy. And they seemed to be kind of realizing that they'd been under some kind of spell or controlled in some way. And so when I got to the claim, everyone kind of agreed, let's get back as soon as possible to within the palisade. And at that point, the peak kind of the hill caved in, and I think there's also some images of blood running down the hill, but maybe that was earlier. Not very nice. And emerged from the hill, an elf who blew a horn, which basically kind of mind controlled the majority of people on the hill to go up the hill in a kind of weird zombie-like fashion and to later fight for him. All the three kind of new companions we found all fell under that. Fons and Ascarai managed to avoid it and kind of continued trying to get back to the palisade, and things were not going well.
No, not really. And matters, in fact, escalated beyond that. Let's bring on Chris, who plays Steo, our resident town guard, war veteran and cynical spearsman, to tell us what happened next, Chris, starting with what came out of the forest.
Well, the first thing that came out of the forest were a load of the, let me get the name right, I don't want to call them carrots, the Karahar tribe, who kind of took up warding positions around the outside and have previously told us they'll kill anyone who tried to leave. So that's a thing that happened. Then the next thing that emerged from kind of the northwest of the forest was the Jackars and a creature I am currently referring to as the Omega Elk, who we came across slightly earlier, a terrifying visage of a creature, the second part of the dialectic between the forever driven hunter and the forever pursued prey of this wild hunt, and proceeded to go straight for the elf and his army of mind-controlled death dancers, but for a small pack of Jakars who made their way to Cylindra's Hope, the settlement proper, and with intent to cause some mayhem. And
Absolutely.
they did manage to cause a fair amount of mayhem because they're very slippery and difficult to hit.
They are difficult to hit. And I believe where we ended last week is the initial engagements all our characters had taken combat-wise had been successful, with Steo and Anton managing to drive off one ravening Jakar. Ascarai and Fons managed to carve up a number of the Death Dancers. And now, I'll tell you what, let's have the map up. because I feel like this will help us illustrate where we are and what's going on, right? So thank you, John. Lovely. So you can see where Cylindra's Hope is there, that settlement at the kind of the bottom left part of the map. And Ascari and Urfons are kind of north above the top palisade, desperately trying to run around to the west in order to get through this battle that's erupted and presumably into Cylindra's Hope and there to meet up again with Anton and Steo, who are on the inside of Cylindra's Hope and are just inside that gate you can see on the west hand palisade there. So they're oddly quite close to each other, but there is a big old battle between them, ravening Jakars and kind of howling, laughing death dancers carving each other up, and in their midst a titanic clash between the huge stag creature and the elven hunter. So, yeah, exciting times. I believe that specifically what had just happened is that Ascari and Urfons had dashed into the battle to try and get round and get into the palisade, and they were intent on, if they had their choice of who to confront, they were going to fight the death dancers doing the bidding of the hunter. And on the inside, Steo and Anton had seen a group of Dathalers who were being menaced by Jakars and had run over to try and engage them. So let's take away the map and bring up initiative, because my word, fellows, there is going to be a lot of combat in this session. So I hope you are ready, girded, happy. Yeah. So let's pick ourselves up with Anton and Steo. So you'd dashed yourselves over to this group of Dathalers who are being menaced by Jakars. There are 3 of them currently kind of snapping at, growling at, tearing at these day laborers. One of them is kind of on the ground wrestling with the Jakar. The others are kind of backing off and kind of, they've got like short daggers or hatchets and stuff like that, and they're desperately trying to fight them away. And I believe Steo and Anton were in the process of engaging them. So I don't know why we're starting with you, because you're at the end of the initiative cycle, but whatever. We're going to be crazy like that. That's just what we're going to do. So, Steo.
I believe I was either engaged with or on the cusp of engaging one of these Jakars.
I think so too.
I would like to, on my way to the fray, kind of take stock of the gate area. Does it look like people are kind of mustering to close the gate?
No one is doing anything organized like that. You can hear maybe some conflict happening deeper in the camp, and you can see some people are trying to like dash into Cylindra's Hope. Some people are trying to dash out of Cylindra's Hope, and you can just see the absolute chaos of the battle going on outside of the gate.
Okay. Once again, I am making a list of problems, and that's one below helping these Dathalers out. So I'm going to have a stab.
Fair enough.
Literally.
So shall we? I think a good guess of mine would be that you're going to attack the one that's kind of got a Dathaler on the ground and is trying to bite their throat out.
Yes, I'm also going to flank to try and get advantage, because you absolutely can hit these guys otherwise.
You absolutely can engage it with advantage. It'll probably round on you then, but whatever. So why don't you give me a roll to hit then, which is a -3, because its defense is -5, but 2 for advantage.
So I roll accurate, which is 15, 14, 13, 12 in this case, +1 because I have a
+1
spear.
for your precise spear.
So I have to hit under 13. Get a 7, thank goodness.
Nice. There we go. So give us that damage roll, friend. And do you get a plus to that for your fancy spear as well with deep impact?
I do indeed. Yeah. So that is a D10.
Is it a D10 and a D4, or do you just get a bonus?
Oh, because it's advantage. Yes, of course. That is 5 on the D10, 3 on the D4. That's 8 + 1 is 9. I think that's
8
a dead wolf.
+ 1 is 9. It is not quite a dead wolf, but I'll tell you this right here. It's not far off. So that's 9 in total you did, yes?
Yep.
Yeah. Right, well, that's definitely over its pain threshold. So do you want it knocked prone, or do you want to get another attack? Difficult with these, isn't it?
It is kind of, because I'd love to have just a turn where I have one less enemy to worry about, and he is just one good hit by any other member of the party to deal with. So I'm going to take the turn. I'm going to knock him over.
Okay. So you dash up behind this Jakar and you kind of half impale it on the end of your spear, but the spear kind of slices through the flesh of its back once it's in there, and it rolls off to one side, whining piteously and scrambling on the floor to try and get back up to its feet. Anton. So there are two of the Jakars in this area. So
I think I would need to engage another one of those, although it's possibly a bit of a long shot for me to actually hit it because they are slippery.
It's also worth noting, of course, that you have Blessed Shield going, don't you? So
I do, yeah. Yeah, I successfully cast that at the cost of 1 XP. Grr. Yeah, I'll make a roll to try and attack, I guess, the nearest Jakar.
Yeah, sure. But not the one on the floor. You're engaging another one, right?
I'm engaging another one, and I don't make it. I rolled 11, and I needed a lot less than that, I think.
Well, it would have been on a -3, so
nowhere close. I think I need a 2 or 1. No, it's I need a 5. Sorry, or below. Yeah,
sure. Ooh. So. In that case, yeah, Anton, you dash forward and you try and engage it. You definitely get its attention now, but yeah, your swing with your flail goes wild. Evidently, it was a one-time, extremely effective flailing that you did at the end of the last session, and the Jakar rounds on you, snarling and snapping. So let's roll back to the beginning of the initiative order now. People in chat saying all kinds of stuff about me. I don't know why I chose to start at the end of the initiative order. Just, live in the moment, guys. Come on, live along. Let's do this. So Askarai, everything around you is absolute chaos. You're dashing through just a mass of bodies heaving each other. The stink is overwhelming. The kind of wild, musky smell of the Jakars mixing with the frankly quite extreme body odor of the Daythalers as they wrestle each other to the ground, hacking at each other, biting each other, and the biting is not exclusive to the animals. And over on your right, you can perceive the two forms kind of crashing together and dashing around each other as the hunter basically tries to kind of slide around the stag, bow arm flickering as arrow after arrow hits it into its side. But you can see that the hunter also has a massive gored slash down the front of its face, presumably from where the stag's antlers made contact on the first charge. Ahead of you, turning at your approach, having killed, hacked apart several Jakars, are 4 death dancers who are turning to face you and Erfons as you run forwards.
Okay. I think I wouldn't have my bow out.
I mean, you can do if you want. I think you could have run with it in your hand.
Yeah.
They're definitely not close enough to immediately. If you want to move towards them to engage them, you can do, but they're going to have to move towards you to engage you. So if you wanted to get a shot off, you can.
How kind of are we in the thick of battle, but these are the 4 that have noticed us, or are we approaching the edge of the battle?
You're on the edge of it. You're trying to stick as close to the palisade as possible, but you're having to weave around little combats little melees that have spun off. It's not like there's 2 shield walls that have crashed together. It's more chaotic and widespread than that. A huge brawl.
In that, I think I will have my bow, and I'll take. I could take 2 bow shots if I have my bow. If I don't move.
Of course you do, because you have rapid fire.
Yes, I do. Exciting.
Nice. Should we have remembered that last time? Actually, I don't remember you doing that last time.
I don't think I got a chance to get a shot off.
You might not have done.
I think because I tried to run away from them.
Yes, that was it.
I didn't get a shot.
That was it.
So how does this work? I think it's just if I don't use my movement action, I can fire a second arrow, basically.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
So I will.
Yeah, and their defense is +1. So
okay, nice. I will need 16s. I got a 12, so that's good. I guess I should do the damage on the first one.
Yeah, because you may or may not decide to. I mean, you could one shot them or something, right? You never know.
Okay, I roll a d10 for damage. I got a 2. Is that one shotting them, Matt?
That is not one shotting them, and even more than that, it's your arrow glances off the padded leather. One kind of tall, kind of a tall Daythaler with long, dark hair, who's kind of sort of running at you, kind of panting oddly in an anticipatory manner.
I will curse and then quickly fire another arrow. I got a 3, so maybe
another hit.
Please, no 2s. I got a 9. Yay!
That's a lot better than a 2. So that is taking off a certain amount of that damage. Yeah, unfortunately, you're one off the pain threshold there, which I'm sure delights you. But yeah, your arrow strikes the man in the belly, but they clearly don't feel a thing, and they just kind of like claw at the arrow in there, lodged in their side, kind of almost absent-mindedly as they run towards you with a big, hefty club. Another one is coming towards you as well, and 2 of them are running towards Earthons. So, yeah, good fun. Good fun. Now it's time for the Jakars. So we cut back inside the palisade. And we're going to have... one of them is going to spend its entire turn getting up. And the other one is going to attack Anton. And the third one is attacking the Daythalers. So, please roll me defense, Anton, at a -3.
So could you repeat that? It went a bit garbled there. Defense, am I doing?
Defense at a -3, please.
This ain't going to be pretty, guys. My defense is 5. No, I rolled a 20.
Oh, no.
What I love about this, Mike, is that when you went, oh, God, this will be pretty, I thought, oh, he's rolled a 20. You know, but you were just saying how shitty your chances were. And then you also rolled a 20. So that's some good shit. So that just increases the damage you receive by 3. So give me an armor roll, please, friend. And don't forget your blessed shield as well.
Yeah. 5.
Okay. Pretty good.
Nice.
So yeah, the Jakar dashes forward and tries to kind of grasp your leg between its jaws, and you feel an intense pressure and a stinging pain, but you're fairly sure that you're I mean, I say this, but you wear a long robe with no. Well, do you have some? You've got some form of armor, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be wearing it. It's just a robe.
Yeah, ordinary light armor.
Sure.
Armor.
Well, it mostly gets your robe and not your actual leg, so just take 1 point of toughness.
Okay.
Good Lord, no disaster yet, and Anton's been attacked once.
Plenty of time. The session is young.
Yes. So Earthons, back outside the palisade, is going to run towards, basically get his blade out and start running towards the Death Dancers, though he won't make contact in this round. The Death Dancers, however, will make contact with him, and they start engaging and fighting him, and the 2 running towards you continue to run towards you. They will be able to engage you on the next round.
Okay.
And we're back onto Steo. Steo, you are engaged with the Jakar that you knocked down.
Am I, though? Because he spent all his turn getting up. He didn't have time to move to engage me, did he?
But you were already in engagement range with him.
Yes, but
so
not.
You engaged him, so he is engaged with you.
Oh, God damn it. So what you're saying is I can't go and attack another Jakar without taking an attack from him?
Correct.
But... So it just ate his attack roll, basically, was the grand total of that. So
yeah, you didn't get attacked.
So. Yeah, my attempt to get a chance to engage two of them at once has failed miserably. I will therefore proceed to have another go at him.
Absolutely. Give me that roll then. So this is they're now not flanked, so this is a -5.
Okay, so that is, once again, 15 minus 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So let's hope for a good number. No.
So your spear thrust goes wide as the heavily wounded creature kind of crawls towards you, snapping and snarling, and manages somehow to get under that spear thrust. Anton.
Yeah, I'll try and do another attack, I think.
Sure.
Might as well just keep on flailing.
Yep, so that's an attack at -5. Unfortunately.
And I've rolled a 12.
Could be worse.
Yeah, could be worse.
Some might say it has already been worse.
Theo, when you did the flank attack on the Jakarta and knocked it down, did you incorporate your extra damage for your flank?
Yes, I got the D4 extra damage, yes.
Yes. Okay. So Anton, your flail goes wide in the continuing saga of actually hitting these Jakars as it extends onward, potentially forever. Let's go back to Askarai.
Okay, I think I'm going to take another 2 shots and hope I can stop at least one of these guys getting to me. Probably
Sure.
just get absolutely savaged.
That's fine. So yeah, you have a shot at a +1.
Okay, I got a 5, so that makes it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll roll my D10. I got a 7. Nice.
You got a 7. So that does that. Yeah, you are you aiming at the same individual, the one you've already wounded?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, this arrow goes into his shoulder. He's kind of stumbling forward now. Clearly, his body is reacting to it, even if his brain is not. And he looks very much the worse for wear. He's got blood pouring from his side, coming out from this arrow puncturing his shoulder, but still gibbering, still sort of looking at you with a cross between violent intent and hunger. And yeah, not down yet. Do you want to see what this last arrow does for that?
Yeah, please. I got 13, which makes it. And my D10. I got a 5.
Well, my friend, that is exactly what you needed.
Ooh.
So, yeah, your last arrow takes him in the throat, and he kind of stumbles forward a bit further, gives out an odd kind of wheezing exhalation of delight at kind of reaching near you, and then collapses and skids to the ground in front of you, kind of shuddering and breathing heavily. The other one, obviously, is still coming for you.
Okay.
So, the Jakars inside the palisade. Let's handle the one attacking Steo first. Steo, give me a defense roll, please. It's a -3.
So I believe my defense is 10. 9, it's 7. 11.
Okay. And then give me a armor roll, please.
That is 1d8. Got a 6. That's respectable.
It's very respectable, and the Jakar's jaws cannot penetrate that kind of respectable armor, Steo. So you simply batter it aside. Yeah. Anton, defense from you now, please. To -3 again.
12. So no.
No. Armor roll?
Six.
Again, the Jakar's jaws just keep getting caught in your long flappy robe as it keeps trying to savage bits of you that aren't there. I'm not saying anything unexpected about Anton's past, but yeah.
Askarai, please hurry up, or we're being stupid forever.
It's going to be a long fight because me and this Jakar have had 2 rounds of combat, and so far he's done 1 point of damage to me.
At this rate, you're going to be in trouble in a couple of hours. So let's go back to After we jumped over the Death Dancers there, didn't we? We jumped right over the Death Dance. Oh no, that was the Jakars. Never mind. Ignore me. Earthon's Askarai. I'm going to say you can't really see clearly what's happening over on Earthon's end, but you see kind of that familiar kind of silverish glittering swings of his blade as he enters his kind of war dance. His deadly war dance that tends to leave his enemies both confused and with less limbs than they started. The Death Dancers, however, you can see what at least one of them is managing to do, because it is a woman wielding a kind of small hatchet, and she's desperately trying to carve chunks off you. So why don't you give me a defense roll, please? Just a flat defense roll, no modifier.
Okay, and this is a 13 I need. I got 17, so not make it.
Not very good. Why don't you give me an armor roll then? And don't forget your extra armor roll for your Lindworm cloak that you salvaged from the tomb.
I got 6.
Well, that is more than enough to deflect all the damage caused. So yes, once again, your Lindworm cape comes to your rescue. As you flick around, it almost seems to you that it moves somewhere in the way of the woman's hatchet as she hacks towards you. Maybe just your imagination. I mean, part of you hopes that it is, because things that come out of Davokar with a mind of their own tend to not do well. So let's move on to Steo's round. So Steo, you and this heavily wounded Jakar, what you gonna do?
One more, well, I say one more, potentially more than one more attempt to attack him. So once again, I believe it's 15 is my accurate, -5 is 10, +1 is under 11.
Mm-hmm.
That is better than 50% chance. I got a 7.
There we go.
Nice.
So give us your damage roll. 1.
Damage roll, D10 +1. 5.
5. So that is... you know what? There's a habit forming here of getting precisely what you need. So the Jakar kind of measures itself and leaps towards you. We've seen Steo do this before. He knows what to do. He firmly plants the back of his spear in the earth. The Jakar impales itself on the end, and with a sweep of your spear, you tip it off to one side, ready for your next foe. There we go.
Power.
One Jakar. Anton, pressure's on.
Is it?
While you make that roll, I am going to blow my nose, because oh my god, it's so itchy, and I'm desperately trying not to just kind of as I'm GMing. So you make that roll, please. It's a -5.
Good job for drawing attention to that.
At a -5, I don't make it.
Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I rolled a 4, which is pretty good, but not good enough.
Thank you for removing me from that, John. No one needed to see me rubbing my nose furiously. Yeah, so you missed. Yeah. Yeah, Antom's flail goes wide again. Yeah, there's not much more to say about it other than that. I mean, flailing, to be fair to Anton, flailing's not his forte.
Could I try persuading the Jakar not to attack?
Have you thought about all the options? Yeah, you give it a go. So moving on, back to Askarai. We are here outside Palisade. Are you now switching to knife work?
Yes, definitely. I'm gonna try and knife this. Not very nice Death Dancer.
It is like a movement action to swap weapon, isn't it? Yeah, drawing weapon.
I think, yeah.
I think we said that, like, what we
well.
Like, I think it is a movement action to, like, oh yeah, it's a free action for a knife because it's small, right? Anyway, so yeah. Cool. So give us your attack at a +1.
Okay, I'm going to use feint. So I need 16. I got exactly 16. Nice.
Nice. And then damage, please.
So 6 and a 4. I got 7 total. 7
total. Okay. So, yeah. The woman is just kind of flailing madly at you with this hatchet, sort of at the end of every swing, giving out a kind of ha 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 noise, and you duck to the side of this quite capably and stab round and leave a long, very deep scored gash along her ribs. Maybe you've gone in and penetrated something vital. You don't really know, and you're not certain that any of these individuals know whether you'll have done something like that because, yeah. They don't seem aware at all of what they're doing or why they're doing it. So you should feel bad for what you've done. Moving back to the Jakars. So there are 2 Jakars left. One of them is kind of trying desperately to take down one of the other Dathalers. One of them is going to attack Anton. So give me a defense roll, please, Anton, at -3.
19.
Oh, close.
Better than 20. I think we can all agree that. So, yeah, just give me an armor roll for that, please.
Armor roll of 7.
Yeah, it doesn't manage to... it basically is just tearing small shreds off the bottom of your already ragged robe. Maybe that's how you can defeat it, Anton. Maybe it will, that's bad for it. All that fabric and hessian and stuff. Maybe you can slowly choke it to death on your clothes.
Yeah. Well, a day passes as an exhausted Jakar and priest slug it out, missing.
Everyone else is already
scratching.
dead. Steo and Ascarai just sat nearby, like. And then the next morning they wake up and you're friends, and you've got a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my kind of role-playing game. When do I sign up for that?
Yeah. So, Earthons, you're not sure what's happened. As I say, you're kind of wheeled round by the combat you're having with the Death Dancers, Ascarai, but you can hear a kind of sharp cry of pain over from where Earthons is, but you're not sure exactly what's happening. I mean, you can make an educated guess. I think you've seen Earthons in action enough by now to he's probably not going to meet his end at the hand of some Dathalers, some corrupted Dathalers.
I'm expecting and hoping that he's doing well.
Yeah. So the Death Dancer facing you is going to strike out for you again. Give me a defense roll, just a flat defense roll with no mods, please.
Okay. So 13 that I need. I got a 6.
Okay, so yeah, the hatchet goes wide once more. You're kind of falling into a real rhythm here. You start to get the sense that you really know how these corrupted humans are fighting, and you can fairly comfortably avoid them. Me saying that, of course, means that next turn you will be absolutely brained by that hatchet. But there we go. Steo, so you have a Jakar in front of you menacing some Dathalers, and you've got a Jakar who is attacking Anton and seemingly not having much luck doing so, and vice versa. So
yeah, I think I kind of need Anton out of his eternal loop of failure or failure, perhaps. So I'm going to make a advantage attack on the Jakar versus Anton right now.
I think we need a flailure emoji.
I'm on board.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm happy for you to engage it with a flank. So go ahead and do that, please. So that's 13, an attack at a -3.
Yep,
no, yes, -3, but +1 for your precise. So yeah,
13
-2. An attack at -2 altogether.
Let's go, please.
Wouldn't you also have advantage?
Don't worry, Theo. Anton's got this.
Demonstrably not.
No, yeah, that was calculated. So the Jakars actually have a -5 defense. So it was +2 for the flanking, so -3, and then +1 for the precise, so -2. But didn't make it.
Nice.
Yeah. You dash in, and the Jakar is now kind of wheeling around between the two of you, deciding which one to attack. but it's got you in a position now where neither of you are flanking it. Anton.
Yeah, I'll attack.
Sure. -5.
One day, I believe in you.
No, not today.
Look, at the end of last session,
I've got to roll a 2, I think, to hit. So that's a tough ask.
is your normal?
We haven't,
is your accurate 7?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that surprising, really. Then no.
My priests are on the back line.
But lest we forget, the end of last session was Anton literally one-shotting a fully healthy Jakar. So.
It does mean that half of your hits are going to be crits against these things.
That's a very optimistic way to look at it.
Wow.
It's going to take me a long time to get those hits.
But eventually, maybe. So let's wheel back around to Askarai. Why don't you try and attack this Dathala again?
More feinty stabby.
Yes, it's just a flat roll for you. 18. Yep. No. So, like I say, you really fall into the rhythm of how to fight these things. It's driven to extra. She is driven to extra fury from your recent attack, and is just kind of like thrashing at you even more wildly, grunting and howling and giggling. And you're left with no alternative but to kind of back off, basically. As you do so, you do get kind of line of sight on how Erfons is doing. One of his Dathalas is collapsed to the floor in definitely in more than one piece. And the other one is kind of reeling backwards with a huge gash across its chest. So he's doing fairly well. Yes. Let's move on to the Jakars. Let's randomize. Let's do a bit of lovely randomization. And I apologize for how loud this may be on my mic, but we'll see if we can mitigate that.
Very rare instance of the GM rolling in Symbaroum.
Yeah. I just wanted to randomize which one of you it was going for. And it's Anton, because I use a die. So so it picked Mike. So yeah, give me a defense roll, please, at -3. No problem. Give me an armor roll, please.
7.
Yep. Once more.
Once more.
slowly choking the thing to death with your robe. It's good. It's all good.
We're going to need more art.
We're going to need more ways to describe priests missing and then Jakars not hitting.
I don't think in case it hasn't become clear, I've run out. I've definitely so Askarai, you see Erfons cut down the final Death Dancer facing him and turn to kind of move towards where you are and help you with the other one. Speaking of the other one, it's going to attack you. So give me a flat defense roll, please.
Okay. I got a 14. I failed by 1.
Terrible.
You truly cursed me.
So why don't you give me an armor roll, please?
Okay, I got a 5 on my armor roll.
Okay. The hatchet once again sort of crashes into your lindworm cloak and slides off to the ground. The Death Dancer in front of you is becoming ever more frustrated by this, and her attacks are becoming ever more fervent and powerful. That means she'll miss next time because I'm trying to add narrative weight to it, but it'll do the opposite of what I just said.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah, that's fine. I just thought I'd help. Steo, why don't you give me an attack on this Jakar, if that's what you want to do? Yeah,
I can't move to get advantage without leaving and getting an attack on me.
Correct. Yeah. Because you're now engaged.
So, am I finally? 8.
Wife you've always wanted.
Yeah.
A non-existent wolf.
So that is
sorry. That's that's an attack at -4 because I'm incorporating your precise.
Yeah, it still makes it. I needed anything below 11 would have been fine. So now for my damage, that's my D10. 7 + 1 is 8.
Nice.
7 + 1 is 8. You manage to, rather than impale it, you swing around the butt of your spear, crash it into the side of its head with a resounding crack that surely fractured something. And it's, well, do you want to strike it again, or do you want to knock it down? Because...
So, tactically, unsound is taking the extra turn with these gentlemen because it does not disengage us from combat. So I am going to strike again.
It does not, but I believe attacking something prone gives you an advantage. So Anton would have an advantage on his strike.
That would take him from a 7 to hit up to maybe a 9 to hit, which is still not.
And it would also reduce his chances of critting from 50% to 25%.
I'm gonna, like, no offense to Anton, but I'm gonna take the roll.
Could you knock it down and then move?
You'd leave combat with them, and they'd get an attack on you.
No, they wouldn't get the attack if they're prone. But you didn't move last time. You just hit it.
I think you moved up to it, maybe.
Yeah, you'd moved up to it and then hit it. But now you have a movement action left over.
Okay.
You could knock it down and then move on and engage the other one.
Could I knock it down and, like... So then someone else can move away from combat because it's prone and we'll get...
if Anton wanted to as well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's my play, actually. I'm going to knock it prone, and I'm going to address Anton and go and close the door. Gates.
Okay.
Entry.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
That'll make it real easy for Ascarai and Earthons to get in.
As far as Steel's concerned, they are probably dead at this stage.
Fair enough. That could be so much fun. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You knock it prone then, and then yell at Anton. Anton, what are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna get out of there and head towards the gate and, like, I guess try to close it. Is it like a single gate or a double gate?
It's a big old double gate.
Okay. And they're both
very, very heavy log pilings.
Well, my strength.
His strong is so good that it's knocked him offline.
That is also.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no, have I gone? Okay.
Yo, you're back now. You're kind of back now. You're jumping in and out, but you're back, I think.
Am I back?
Mostly. Your audio is back.
Yeah, sorry. So I don't know what's going on my internet there. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'm going to try and close the gates, but I will just maybe peek my head out just to see if I can see Ascarai and Earthons first.
You dash over towards the gate and you look out. The general mass melee between the huge pack of beasts and the corrupted ensorcelled Dathalers is still going. It's horribly bloody. You can see bodies lying everywhere. People kind of both people and animals kind of desperately crawling away from the fight, horribly wounded. In the center of this massive swirl of chaotic violence, you can see those two titanic forces clashing still. Both of them rent all over with flowing wounds. The hunter kind of desperately hanging onto the back of the stag, trying to hanging on with one hand onto the antlers and using the other to thrust an arrow into its neck over and over again as the stag rears and bucks and twists to slam its other antler into the elf. Yes. And you know what? Let's have a look and see if you can see Ascarai and Earthons, shall we? Give me a vigilant roll, and I'm going to be quite harsh with this one because I think there's, it's a lot to take in and pick out two individual people. So let's say it's at I'm going to say it's a -3.
Oh, that's perfect because I rolled a 10 and my vigilant is 13.
Beautiful. So further along, around where the palisade curves to the northern wall, you don't notice them per se, but what you do notice is a wide, swinging, glittering silver arc, and you recognize that somewhere in that mass, Earthons is fighting, and you suspect that if he's fighting like that, he probably hasn't fallen under the whatever sorcery is controlling the mass of the Dathalers.
Okay. Can I make a judgment at this point as well about like what the threat is of people like kind of getting into Cylindrous Hope? Like, are there more Jakars nearby that are threatening to come in?
There are, and as you ran to the gate, a couple more like dashed in and didn't engage you, just kind of dashed off in a different direction to kind of run wild, essentially. In fact, you can see a couple of the darkly enchanted Dathalas stumbling towards Cylindrous Hope with kind of ravening, violent looks in their eyes. So clearly, the mass melee as a whole threatens to completely spill into the settlement at any moment.
Okay. Well, I'll start to close. Like, is there a watchtower or something by
nothing like that? No.
So if you're inside and the gates are closed, you've got no way of seeing
Correct.
who's outside.
Correct.
Damn. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna how far away is this silver whirlwind that I can see in the distance? There's like no way that I can shout that far, right, and get their attention.
I mean, all being clear, you may be able to shout and be heard, but the noise of the battle is cacophonous. So you very much doubt you could be heard.
I mean, I will do it anyway because, in the desperation and the heat of the battle, that's what
absolutely
one would do. And I think that I will, maybe look to sort of close the gates a little bit so that it's only a small entrance that that needs to be sort of protected. Defended.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. You know what? I'm going to let you actually roll a die for how loudly you shout. And you know what? If you roll a 1,
$7.
That's not a 1. So no, your cry goes unheard by Askarai and Erfons. And then you can start to close the gate. Give me a strong roll at +2, please. It's heavy, but it's not, horribly heavy.
Oh, nailed it. I got a 9, and that's exactly what I needed.
Okay.
Nice.
You've heaved kind of mostly to one of the 2 doors. So next turn, you'll get a chance to dash over to the other one and try and do that as well. And I think you said, hold it so it's, it's easily defensible, but also people can pass through if need be.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Askarai, back outside then. You and this other kind of death dancer are nearing the end of your combat, most likely. So why don't you, assuming you're attacking it,
yep.
Why don't you give me an attack roll at a +1, please?
I got a 9, which makes it. And my damage is 4.
Okay. So yeah, you wound this individual again. She kind of reels back with a hiss at kind of a gash you've carved along her forearm, and then carries on with her wild flailing at you. Inside the palisade, the Jakar that Steel and Anton was facing crawls back up to its feet. The other one is carrying on fighting some Dathalas. Erfons is kind of basically, from your perspective, Askarai, you see Erfons just kind of appear at the back behind this woman. He is kind of holding his long sword in 2 hands and just flips it over her head, and just with one sliding thrust opens her throat up, and kind of she collapses back on top of him onto the ground, gives a coughing gurgle, and then lies still as he kind of wrenches his way out from underneath her and climbs back up to his feet, panting and soaked in blood.
Let out a large sigh. Maybe gesture towards the gate.
Absolutely. So as you dash forwards towards the gate, there's still a hefty chunk of battle ahead of you. Again, do you have any sort of preference on what whether you're attempting to get in the way of the Death Dancers or the Jakars.
Well, one thing, can I scan quickly for our old companions, like the Khmer, and if I just
yeah, you know what? Why don't you give me I gave I gave Anton a vigilant roll at -3, so why not give you a vigilant roll at -3 as well?
Okay, this will be a 12. I got a 7.
You can see further ahead of you on the other side of kind of where the southern edge of the battle seems to be stopping. You can see what looks like Anton closing the gates to Cylindra's Hope.
Okay. I try not to take that personally.
He's got a look on his face like he's really pleased with himself. I could have added an extra line. You're wearing the cloak, otherwise I would have said he's got a green cloak on. And...
in that case, I think still I would have some preference for fighting the Death Dancers.
Sure.
Maybe. Just about.
Sure. I'm actually genuinely interested in this. Is this because you feel like you favor one of the huge, terrifying creatures winning over another one, or I don't know what? Yeah, why?
Yeah, it's partly exactly that. Like, I favor the stag who allowed us to live and seems to be like the prey rather than this horrible hunter who has been mind controlling people. And I also kind of feel like if we fight all the Jakars and then the elf wins because of that, these people are probably gonna just be mind controlled and it's gonna go bad for them. Whereas if we fight some of the people and the wolves and the stag win, perhaps there'll still be some survivors. And also,
seems reasonable.
I think they'll be slightly easier to get through as a practical reason as well.
That seems perfectly reasonable. So, yeah, let's you dash forward further through the battle and we'll get back to you on your turn. No Death Dancers to take their turns, so let's go back to Steo. Steo, you didn't move, so you are still engaged with this Jakar that's got back to its feet. Do you want to give me an attack roll, please? To -4.
And again, that is a target number of 11. I got a 5.
Beautiful. Give me that damage roll, please.
That damage roll will be a delightful... Oh, 9 + 1 is 10. Mathematics.
Nice. Yes, the Jakar just about finds its feet in time for you to thrust forward, take it in the throat, and it's dead instantly and just collapses back off your spear. Ahead of you, you can see that the other Dathalers are kind of basically they're thrashing quite wildly at this Jakar in front of them, and one of them is on the ground kind of rolling in pain with a leg bitten open. But behind said Jakar you can also see the figure of the ogre Roughneck kind of bounding forwards fast and kind of hefting her huge metal studded club in the air and sort of starting to spin it to gain momentum around her head as she charges forward, hopefully towards the Jakar rather than the Dathalers. But hey, who knows? Anton, I'm assuming you are
Have a go at the second gate.
Absolutely. Give me a strong roll, please, at +2.
No, I don't think I failed that one. I rolled a 10 and I needed 9.
There we go. So the other gate remains open for now. Nothing seems to be immediately moving towards it, but you're kind of heaving there, pushing it to. Is there any kind of movement action you want to take?
Well, no, I think that I think that I need to get the gates as close as possible. Although, does it look like Roughneck is wanting to get out of the
Not from what you can see.
Palisade or-
I'm going to say you probably haven't noticed her anyway, because you'd have to have your back to it all to heave at the gate. But for what it's worth, no, she's definitely heading towards that combat with the Jakar.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I just maybe sort of position myself like in a way that, yeah, if someone bursts through the gate who is not someone that we want inside, then I might be able to get a quick blow on, like maybe almost like a flanking blow, because like I guess like if they're running through, then I would be at the side of the gate.
Yeah, you can kind of hold yourself ready, but like that's not. Yeah, when I said movement,
it's
action,
not a movement action.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
That's just what I'm doing.
No problem. So Askarai, you are charging forward again. And this time two Death Dancers kind of finish in front of you, like hacking apart a couple of Jakar and wheel around, and they're already kind of quite close to you. You think that you could stand and get a couple of bow shots off on them, but they definitely engage you on their turn. But you could still do that if you wanted. And I guess it's 2 attacks rather than 1 knife attack. And they wheel around to charge towards you. It takes you a couple of seconds to realize that one of them is Gadraban, one of your barbarian companions. The younger one, the one kind of long red hair, red beard, armed with shields and an axe usually, but the shield has been discarded, and he's just coming for you, panting wildly and gripping his axe in fury. The other one is someone you do not know, a man you don't recognize.
Are they both coming for me, or are they both coming for me?
They're both coming for you two in general, but it seems to you like the other one is going for Irfon's more, and Gadraban is coming for you.
Oh God. I think I'd still shoot. I don't know what options there are.
Could roll persuade at -20.
I think I'll take one shot, and depending, I'm going to take a shot.
Sure. I think if you wanted to do something, we could do something off the books, like you could intend to shoot to wound.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, do one shot. I'm not going to kill him with the first shot for sure.
Okay.
And then maybe on the second shot, go for some kind of non-lethal area that might disable him.
Okay, so yeah. Oh well, let's take this first shot then.
Okay. I got. What did I need to hit these guys?
Well, he is not them. He has different stats. So Gadraban has a defense of actually minus. Really? No. Yes. What?
Oh God.
A defense of minus 1, I think. So yeah, you're attacking him for -1.
Okay, I got a 17, so I did not hit.
Okay, next shot, presumably also a shot to do as much as possible.
Yeah. I got a 15, which also does not hit since he's -1.
That's rough.
Uh-oh.
Perhaps unconsciously you meant to miss.
Poor Gadraman.
So, moving back to Jakars. So the Jakar is going to take one look at the ogre barreling towards them, and is going to turn and try and dash at Steo as what it sees as perhaps an easier meal than the ogre. But that means that it's going to enter within your engagement range, Steo, to take your free spear attack.
Get donked. Yeah, 4.
And give me that damage roll, please.
5 + 1 is 6.
6.
Nice.
Cool. So, you manage a quick thrust, which takes it in a leg, but it's still going, and it's now engaged with you, kind of desperately flicking its eyes between you and the onrushing ogre. So next we'll go to Irfon's. You hear Irfon's swear a particularly virulent Thistlehold curse under his breath, and he kind of dashes forward and slides underneath the blow of the anonymous Dathala and thrusts up powerfully, and you see his blade emerge from kind of the back of the man's neck, who kind of like then slumps onto the ground. Fons finishes his slide with a sort of slight kick up, which draws his longsword up behind him, and he kind of is looking at the back of Gadraban and looking between you and him, kind of not, he's taking his action for the turn. He's not stuck for what to do, but he's obviously feeling conflicted in exactly the same way you are.
Yeah.
Someone who is not conflicted, however, is Gadraban himself, who is going to attack you. Give me a defense roll at a -5, please.
Oh, God. So I need 8.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 10.
Oof. You got a 10. So, where are the weapons? There we go. So that's unsuccessful, right?
Yep.
Okay. So give me a armor roll, please.
Okay. I got 4.
Oof. Okay. So, Gadraban's axe crashes down on you. He's a strong young man, and you can feel the blow even through the lindworm cloak that you quickly whip over your front, and his axe crashes into your upper arm. It didn't penetrate, but that is definitely going to leave a horrible bruise. Take 1 toughness, please.
Okay. Ouch.
So, Steo, you get an attack on this Jakar now.
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
What you want.
Yes, please.
So attack at -4, please.
-4, which once again, 15, 14, 13, 12, +1, 13. I need to get below 13.
Where?
I got another 4.
Nice. But isn't it 11? Haven't all yours been at 11?
Yeah, so let's recount it. So 15, you said -4,
Mm-hmm.
brings us down to 11, +1 for nasty
No,
good spear.
I'm incorporating the spear.
Okay. That's where we're confused. So yes, I still made it.
You still made it. So give me a damage roll, please.
The 9 + 1 is 10.
10 damage. My
Mhm.
word.
Very nice.
Love the spear.
Just as Roughneck kind of pounds up behind the Jakar, it wheels round to get a better look at her, and you thrust into its side, again, feeling it shudder on the end of your spear, the kind of that familiar last spasm of a foe expiring. Tip it off the end, and Roughneck just kind of thumps to a halt in front of you, looks down at the Jakar and goes, and then kind of moves around you to kind of walk more slowly and calmly towards the palisade gate. Anton, you still trying to shut that other side of the gate?
Yeah, I think so. I think I am.
Sure.
Let's see how it goes.
I'd say it's getting easier because it's starting to kind of the ground and the mud holding it in place is starting to give, right? So let's have a strong roll for you at +3.
I rolled an 18.
Okay. Yeah, this gate is a bit trickier than the other one.
Are there any? It's like I don't know if this is something I could do as part of like another action on my turn, but like, are there any sort of Dathalas like nearby that I could like?
Yeah, you could shout out for some help.
Yeah.
Hey, there's an ogre right behind you.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll just yell and sort of beckon people over and
sure, absolutely
get people's attention.
Well, you can hear Roughneck kind of thumping up behind you, and the ogre kind of like reaching over to you to start to heave at the door above you. But we'll go back to your next turn to see what happens there. So Askarai, what are we doing about Gadraban?
Well, he did just hit me very hard.
So
gut him. Well, I definitely can't shoot him anymore. So I think I would still. I guess there are non-lethal-ish things you could do with a knife, maybe.
Yeah, especially if you strike with the pommel.
Okay, I'm gonna get my knife out and start.
As far as I'm aware, there's no rules for this in the game. Although what you could do is just try and attack with like unarmed. But I'm perfectly happy. Let's do a thing, okay? Let's say and this is literally completely off the top of my head, that if you make, I'm going to give you extra penalties to your attack, okay? I'm going to give you an extra -5 to your attacks. But if you do damage based on that, once he, and don't quote me on this all the time because otherwise this is not balanced. Basically, I'm going to give you an extra -5 on top of any minuses you already get for him, which is -1. So it'll be -6, right? And then basically, if you, I'll track that damage separately. And if you do damage equal to his pain threshold in total over time with those rolls, you've knocked him out.
Okay.
That sounds like a decent compromise, right?
Yeah. I mean, can I do that with my knife? Like with my knife?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
I guess there are, like, you can cut people's legs or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could try and slash his Achilles tendon, although he'll probably be,
maybe not.
disabled for life. No, with you, I think that's absolutely fine. You can flip your blade round and like punch him with the pommel between. You can. Yeah, I realize that it's fudging it, that it's a different weapon, but like at the same token, if you think about it, like if you were doing it with a Zweihander, it would be easier to knock someone out with the pommel of that or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. John's going to double
will.
check if there's any stunning rules, but we'll run with this for now. It kind of feels okay. So that's a roll to hit at -6, please.
Okay, I will need a 9. I got a 1. Nice.
Ooh,
Nice. So that, my friend, is a good old critical hit with a +1 d6.
Very
so
nice.
why don't you roll me now here your attack with an extra d6, and let me just quickly check Gadruban's pain threshold. Okay.
4,000.
Okay. Please be good. I got 10.
You got 10 in total.
Yeah.
Okay. Gadruban kind of turns round from the axe blow and roars and swings for you again, high this time, over the top of your cloak. It is a killing blow, and if it connects, you're a dead man. Fortunately for you, Gadruban is younger than you and stronger than you, but you are quicker than he is. And far more in control of your faculties. You duck down underneath the blow, and as you come back up, you flip your dagger, not your dagger so much as you just flip your hand round, the hard pommel of your dagger underneath. You swing up with all of your might, and your pommel catches him directly under his chin. You hear his jaw crack. And like his head reels backwards. He blinks at you for a second, kind of makes a noise to strike you, and then collapses back into the mud.
Breathe in extra large sigh of relief and give Alphonse a knowing look of, thank God that is over.
Alphonse kind of flicks flicks his eyes over to near the palisade where there's like a large sort of bush, and says, "Quick!" grabs Gadruban and starts heaving him towards, just rolling him into this underbrush.
I will help out as best I can.
Between the two of you, heave him over and roll him under. Hopefully he'll be safe under there. Whether or not he'll thank you for the broken jaw when he breaks back up is another matter, but he's alive. Well done. That was a lovely dramatic moment. So, let's talk. Well, we don't have to talk to cars. No one's in combat, are they? So I think we can slip back into narrative for the moment. So I think that's fine. So Ascarai and Alphonse, you're dashing further. You're kind of getting towards the edge of the battle here, and ahead of you, you can see the other gate is now sort of swinging to. Anton, the ogre alongside you, is making short work of this gate, pushing it in place. Steo, what are you doing while this is going on?
Securing the camp basically at this. Oh no, there was a Daythaler on the ground with a bad leg, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I'd like to do is try and patch them up very quickly.
Cool. Okay.
So
give me a Medicus roll.
that's my roll against cunning, which is 11. So maybe, I got a 4.
Cool. Yeah, the Daithala, they're going to have a limp probably for the rest of their lives, because the bite went straight through their calf muscle. But you think you're there in time to, they'll live, and you tear a strip off their shirt and kind of bind it closed, tell them to keep pressure on it, and then wheel round to face the gate and what else is happening. Ascarai, Urfa, like Anton. So the gate, you're not closing the gate fully, right? You're leaving a gap.
That's right.
As you do so, you look up as the gate comes to a halt, maybe like a foot and a half or something left open. You can see your two friends dashing towards the gap in the gate, Ascarai and Urfons, dashing out of the general melee.
Get inside. We weren't going to close it until we got you out.
Oh yeah,
roll persuasion.
I've been watching you struggling to shut this gate for 3 turns now. I will just jump through this gate at the earliest opportunity.
Absolutely. So let's see. So now the two of you go, arrive through the gate. Anton is stood there as well. Roughneck the ogre kind of looks at you all briefly and says, quite quietly says, "I'd get away as fast as you can." She slips through the gap in the gates and is gone.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all the hint I need. Like, are we getting our stuff?
Your stuff is quite near in your in your tents and stuff.
Stuff. They all blew the horn, and Likama, Relnara, Gadjaban, they're all out there fighting, not in their own minds. Gadjaban, we fought ourselves, but he's hidden by a bush.
Fons nods and says, "The changeling here knocked him out in one punch."
Don't forget that.
Is someone winning the battle out there? I saw a lot of fighting when I looked out.
Did we get any sense of if anyone was winning?
It seemed to be just a titanic fight where both of them were being horribly wounded by the other. You can hear the general hubbub of the battle, but above it all, you can hear the bellows of the stag and the shrieking of the hunter as they still clash. As you are having this discussion, can everyone give me a vigilant roll -2, please?
Nope, not for me.
Yes.
11.
Nope.
Okay.
Nice.
Well then, Steo should have actually been more because Steo's not actually by the gate, but that's fine. Steo, you can feel more than hear a thumping on the ground as something large seems to be approaching that gate.
Well, fudge. So, list of problems. Try and survive at least 3 more turns, I suppose, is number 1. So, were the inside of Jackard's Heart, are there any more, or not Jackard,
Cylindra's Hope.
Any more Jackards there?
Oh, yes. Lots, but not in your immediate area.
Inside. Okay. Shit. Okay. Fair enough. I'm going to
probably by now, even some, not that they came through. I actually no, because I didn't say they came through beforehand. So no death dancers inside, but they were starting to head towards the gate. It's worth noting this thumping noise of something heavy approaching is it's an urgent matter. You suspect that something is going to come barreling through that gate within seconds.
Okay, I am going to round up with the rest of my team if at all possible.
You can. I'd say you have time for one movement action or equivalent.
Head towards the lean-to. And with my free action, I'd be like, brace the gate!
Okay. Well, you know what? How about... You give me, Steo, a persuasive roll at -3.
I got to roll 4 or better. Roll
There we go.
with 2 elves!
Antom and Ascarai, you hear Steo cry out rather urgently to brace the gate, and therefore become aware of this. Whatever it is approaching the gates fast and hard and sounds quite large. What is your immediate reaction? You are both stood behind the gate.
I guess to brace the gate.
Throwing my body against the gate to close it and hold it closed.
Okay. Well then, in
may
that
have been
case,
bad advice on my part. I'm just realizing.
terrible. So, with a great crack and crash, something impacts into the front of the gate. Both of you are. Well, no, I will allow you to make some kind of roll, but you're certainly knocked aside to a certain degree. Can both of you make a strong roll at -5? Let's just go for the normal maximum.
1 or a 2. 1 or a 2. 1 or a 2. 19.
I got a 9, so I said fail.
Good stuff. So both of you are just slammed aside by this. Parts of the gate come off and crash on top of you as you're kind of scrambling in the mud in desperation and pain away from what has battered through the gate on either side of you. We'll deal with things like how much you're hurt in a second, but for now, Steo, you're the only one who's really, truly aware of, and Earthons as well, that through the gate has crashed. Do you remember the extremely large, threatening-looking wolf that was eyeing you up hungrily before the stag got it to move on in the forest? Well, it's here, and it looks like it has every intention of carrying on with the plan it had the first time it saw you. John, can you remove Jackars and Death Dancers from the initiative, please, and add in the wonderfully titled Hunger Wolf?
I don't like it when you do this.
Lovely. Okay, thank you. So, Ascarai, what we're going to do first is calculate the damage that has been done to you. So, shall we give me a good old armor roll, shall we?
Okay. I get 4.
Okay. You're sprawled on the ground, and you kind of look down. You can see where some large barbed splinters have kind of impacted into your arm, where the gate split apart. But other than that, you seem in fairly good shape. Take 1 toughness damage, please.
Okay.
You're also prone. So,
what are the rules for getting up?
I believe you have to spend 2. You have to spend basically both your actions to get to your feet, unless you. I think is there a roll you can make for quick to try and get to your feet. I don't know why my cheat sheet. I can't find where the prone stuff is, even though I'm fairly sure it's on there.
Says correct.
Correct. So yeah, if you make a quick roll, you can just get to your feet with your movement action. I think.
I will attempt.
But if you don't, quick for a single movement action. Okay. Otherwise, it's 2 movements. So yeah. But bear in mind that if you fail the quick action, I think you don't even get to your feet in this round.
Oh, really?
I think so. Otherwise, why would you not make the roll? If you see what I mean. John will check that, but go ahead and make the quick roll.
Yeah,
I think it's worth making it. Well, unless you don't want to bother, it's up to you.
I will attempt it. I need a 10 or under. I got 11.
Rough. Well, let's see what John says. Maybe you're not punished for failing it. We'll see what John says. But either way, you're not to your feet and able to move in this action. The next thing to consider is the Hunger Wolf. The Hunger Wolf will kind of swirl round. It's a huge black and grey furred creature, a massive wolf coming up to almost shoulder height, and its red tinged eyes look savage and kind of beyond control. Phlegm and saliva flowing from its mouth as it reels around looking for where its next meal is going to come from. And it settles on Steo because Steo is still standing. So the Hunger Wolf is going to charge Steo, and that means Steo gets a free attack for his long. John says, basically, I think the quick isn't a decision you take. You make the roll. So you're not punished for failing the quick. So next turn, you're back on your feet and ready to go.
Cool.
I should probably tell you what its defense is, shouldn't I? Its defense is -3. So a roll at -3, please.
Okay, so once again, that's 11.
So -2 for you, yeah.
Sorry. Hang on, so 15, 14, 13. That doesn't sound right.
Yes.
It's the same as the Jackar.
It's not the same as a Jackar. Jackar is -5 and you pushed up to -4. This is a -3 and you push it up to -2.
Okay, perfect.
So you need 13 or under.
13 or under? 9.
Nice. So give me that damage roll, please, friend.
Not sure it's going to make much of a difference. 3 in total.
It does not. You thrust forward and you can feel the thick fur and skin of the creature kind of resist the thrust of your spear and glide along its flank as it bounds towards you hungrily. It gets 2 attacks every turn. You'll be delighted to know.
It's been a pleasure serving with you all.
So it just has flat. It uses a -3 there. So give me a defense roll at -3, please.
Need to hit 7s or better. 13.
And why not give me the second one? Yeah, give me the second one because we might as well add them all together.
18.
Okay. So why don't you give me 2 armor rolls, please? And I'll just.
The first one on a D8 is 4, and the second one on D8 is 2.
Oh no.
Okay. What's your toughness?
Oh God, now you're asking. 13 in total. Pain threshold is 7.
Okay. Well, you take 12 toughness. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
The Hunger Wolf bounds forward. It snaps at you and closes its huge jaws around your arm, wrenches you to one side and flings you to the floor. That arm, Steo, you're not sure if it's going to come back again. But certainly for this battle, no. It's going to knock you prone, fling you to the ground. And yes, you feel oddly lightheaded. And the world is spinning around you. Weirdly, you can't feel pain. And somewhere inside the mind of a veteran soldier, you know that's not a good sign. Earthons is going to cry out loud at the creature, bound forward and try and get its attention, and is sliding underneath it, slashing it quite deeply with his weapon. He definitely does some damage to it, but not enough that the creature doesn't kind of spin round and dash forward to snap at him. Steo, It is your turn now. Do you want to get back on your feet?
I don't think I'm going to make the quick roll though.
Why not? Why don't you want to?
So the same reason as I didn't take this roll the last time, this feels for Steo like the right point for an ending. And
Chris, stop trying to kill your character.
I just lost an arm. What am I going to do with a spear and one hand?
Failing your quick roll, Chris, will not kill your character.
Yeah. Okay. Look, you've talked me into it.
Like
you won't even give me a. You won't even give me a poetic death, Matt. You won't even give me that.
You still
are a vile
left. You still
one
have
point
toughness left.
Right, here we go.
The death rolls are hard enough. Stop trying to make them happen way before they happen.
I do actually make the quick roll.
Yeah. It's worth noting what I described to you in terms of your arm is not a mechanic. Like, I'm just trying to be poetic. You can still use your spear. You can wedge your arm around it and use it to base your thrust. It's fine.
Want to go and have a pint in the salon for Symbaroum even.
So,
okay, I'm back up.
Okay, well, it has a defense, and you're back up, and you made your quick roll, so it only cost you your movement. So this thing is still engaged with you and Earthons. So why don't you give me, if you want to take a thrust at it, why don't you make an attack at -3, please?
Okay, I'll give it a go. 12, which is a success.
Yes, it is. So what's that damage?
6 + 1 is 7.
Okay. Again, you're not sure if it's your thoroughly wreckaged arm or simply the toughness of the hide of the creature. But again, the spear point glances off the fur and the tough hide of its flank. So we know that it's got armor of at least 7, right? So that's fun.
Good luck, gentlemen.
So let's go, Anton, our guy.
Anton's time.
Fucking one-shot it, mate.
Well, I think I've got to first get one-shotted by a door, but we'll see how
Yeah, you need to get back up, don't you? So, yeah.
I mean, just in the interest of accuracy, don't I need to see if I take any damage from it?
You do, well. So give me your armor on. Don't forget your blessed shield, obviously.
Yeah, a 7 for that.
Yeah, you are unhurt.
Okay.
You crashed into a particularly soft pile of mud.
Great. Quick roll now.
You have a combat action. I'm going to say this Hunger Wolf because Steo was a little bit away from you, but I think it's big enough reasonably that you can attack it in this turn. And also, I would consider that a flank because it's currently engaged with those two, but not with you.
Okay. I rolled 13, which is not enough.
No, it would have been a -3. So, but still, you're there now. You can tank it.
Is it by any chance like an abomination, or
you don't know?
So, do I think it's an abomination, or would I? Would I just know?
Give me a cunning roll at -5.
No, I don't think it's an abomination.
Have no idea. No idea. It's worth noting, however, that your aura does have healing though as well, and Steel looks in terrible shape. But by the same token, one slightly off roll, and you fucking turn into a corrupt abomination right now. So, yeah. How many points of corruption are you off your threshold?
Where are we? 2.
Yeah.
That's a coin flip.
So you'd have to roll a 1, right?
I'd have to roll a 1
on that D4, or yeah.
It's not even a coin flip.
But yeah, you have no idea whether it's an abomination or not.
It's a 4-sided coin flip.
So, background, Askarai, you are on your feet. You are good to go. Time for arrow o'clock, I think.
It definitely is arrow o'clock. I'm going to use my rapid fire and try and take 2 shots at this thingy.
Sure. I'm going to. There is some. John, can you briefly look at me for ranged combat modifiers? Because I think there's at least one for like the size of a creature.
I did ask John if there's advantage for like shooting.
I don't think you can flank things from range. But I think there are modifiers for the size of a thing. So we'll just see if John comes back on that. But while John comes back on that, why don't we make a roll? And then if it would have been a miss, but it's actually a hit because the modifier will just do the damage again. Okay. So its defense is -3.
Okay, I got a 1.
Excellent. That's a great first shot. So let's see what we have here. So you get a +1 d6 to your damage roll. So
okay. D10 and d6. Please be something. I got an 8.
Yeah, not bad. So it almost seems to feel your arrow coming and tries to turn its body away in time to avoid it. But your arrow was your sight. Your eye was too true, your hand too steady, and the arrow does flicker and gore deeply along its hip. It's not a particularly significant wound for it, it feels like, but you have hurt it. Nice. And I feel like in the current situation, that's a cause for celebration.
Yeah, I'll definitely take that.
Yeah.
I will try again with another arrow.
I'm almost certain there are ranged modifiers for size.
On my second shot, I got 11, which I think makes it a minus. Yeah, makes it.
Yeah, it would be a hit anyway, wouldn't it? So yeah. I think there's like a modifier table for ranged attacks, and it's a number of different things. And I think some of them are size, and some of them is like the enemy's prone and things like that. I could be completely wrong, and in fact remembering an entirely different game. But I think they're in there. So we'll see. Anyway, you hit anyway. So give me a normal damage roll, please.
Okay, 1d10. I got a 7.
Okay, the arrow splinters apart on impacting it. This thing, turns out, is tough.
Yeah.
So the Hunger Wolf is going to strike at Earthons. And I have a little table I built to say how these things happen. And its first attack is going to miss. And then its second attack is actually going to catch him. The goblin kind of somersaults backwards through the air from the first attack. The creature is too wily, though, and swipes out with one huge clawed paw and bats Earthons out of the air before he lands. He crashes to a heap on one side. You can see kind of deep rents along the scale mail he wears, with kind of some blood is definitely leaking out and soaking into his armor, but he kind of rolls with the impact of crashing to the floor back up to his feet, kind of panting but still fighting. Yeah, and then he's going to get an attack in, and he's going to swing. He's kind of almost moves beyond his usual style at this point. He takes a more traditional fencer's stance and moves forward, swipes up and scores a line across the creature's face. Not as impactful as one of his usual attacks, but still probably quite welcome at this point. Steo.
I think I'm in no fit state to think tactically about this, and honestly, the best I can think of is just take the hits and run. Mm-hmm. But you're running from an apex predator that's like 150% larger than its real world analog. So I think I'm just going to take the strike.
Sure. So we're looking at a 13 or under for you, I believe.
Yep. 12, which is one below 13.
Lovely. So why don't you give me that tasty damage roll?
5.
Yeah, not enough. Even I can't remember what your spear is called. I can't remember if you actually found out what it was called.
I've put it on my character sheet as the Spear of the Dead King.
That's absolutely fine. It does have
Nice.
it does have another name, and maybe we'll find it out once you pass it to some of the scholars in Thistlehold for a look at it. But for now, the Spear of the Dead King, you know, it's been around in that tomb for a long time. Clearly, too long to deal with this kind of monstrosity because, again, no damage is dealt. Anton, I'm going to say that this creature hasn't noticed you're there yet because you didn't strike it, and it's busy. It's busy dealing with Steo and Earthons. So you can take another flanking shot at it. So that will be an attack roll at -1.
Is there any like kind of wound to this creature already before I do that? Is there any kind of like obvious, like, you know, place where it's injured
there's no real significant wounds on it. I believe that Earthons has left gashes on its belly and on its face, and there is an arrow wound along one hip, but nothing huge.
I was sort of referring to the stuff that had happened like outside of the palisade.
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
Maybe you may be thinking of the stag, which had the spear
the
in its
stag
side.
had something in. I remember that.
Yeah, there's nothing like that for this wolf.
Dang. Okay. Yeah, I'll go for my attack. And
That's a -1.
hey, I rolled a 1. That's
Hey! Awesome.
Save us, battle priest!
Let's not get too excited. So that's a critical. So that's a +d6 to your damage roll. So give me your damage roll with an extra d6, please.
And I get a flanking bonus as well, right?
You do. Oh God, yeah, you do get a flanking bonus, right? Your flanking bonus is just that a general +2.
It's a D4.
D4
I think,
Is it a D4? Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that is 14 in total I've done there.
Nice. Very, very nice.
It's Anton, the best fighter in the party. Save us again.
Saint Ephaeus strikes again.
Oh my God, let me take a look at something here. Oh God, everything on my thing just... Give me a moment. Okay. I'm going to narrate this here. Anton, you do tell me though if I'm taking too much over you. Do you feel like Anton might be like he's just seen Steo have his arm ripped near off? Even Earthons has been battered aside. Do you think Anton might be reaching a point of, especially having just recently cracked the face of a Jakarin? Do you think the battle madness might be upon him slightly?
I think that he's running on some pretty fucking high adrenaline right now. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, as Earthons readies himself for the counterattack of this Hunger Wolf, a creature far larger and more dangerous than he is, Anton, you just feel something inside you snap. You step forward and underarm your flail under the back of the creature, slamming deep into its groin and hindquarters with the heavy metal balls of your flail. It whines and whimpers loudly, reels round to snap at you. You whip your arm back and thrash it in the face, in the head, again and again and again and again, until sometime later you feel Earthons pulling you away, saying, it's done, Anton. The Hunger Wolf lies on the floor in front of you, its skull just a wet mess on the soil. The priest pulls out the goods when it's crunch time. What can I say? Good Lord.
Jesus, Hotel Krishna.
Amazing.
I think that Anton's just gonna be sort of like panting and like sort of heaving shoulders and just like in a bit of a daze and not really present in the moment.
Yeah.
Much like I am right now, to be honest. As well.
To be fair. So you can hear some Jakars through the camp. and some kind of human cries and stuff. The battle seems to be reaching some kind of crescendo outside. The bellows of the creature are very loud. The shrieks of the elf. That gate is right there, folks.
And I did move over towards the lean-to for the purposes of packing up my stuff, specifically my valuables.
Sure.
Oh, actually, in a moment of extreme clarity, the barbarian gentle friends, they were camping with us, weren't they?
Next to yours, yeah.
I would really love to get that sunstone if I can make a roll for it.
Sure. Yeah. Why don't you give me... Yeah, why don't you give me a vigilant roll at -3 to rummage through the camp of your friends and loot from them?
It's a 6, so it's probably not going to happen. It was a 15. It was a nice thought.
You have a brief look in their lean-to and can't see anything that looks like the sunstone. The others, I take it you're scrabbling to get your treasures into your packs, and then are we just dashing out of that? Yeah. Okay.
I think I might offer Steo the Water of the Dusk at this point.
That seems like probably a good idea.
Yeah. No arguments.
Chris is going to refuse it to increase the chances of Steo dying, but
yeah, that's the only thing that can reliably remove permanent corruption as well. So I'd really rather not. But given the situation, I don't think Steo's in any position to complain.
Let me ask you this, Chris, and this is going outside the game and getting a bit meta. You watched the announcement blurb early today of the latest installment of Throne of Thorns. Do you really not want Steo involved in that?
Oh man, it's so much trauma to role play, Matt.
Sure, but still, how cool! And it's
cool.
not spoilers because it's in the title of the damn book, but yeah. If anyone is aware of what got announced today, not announced today, it's been on pre-order already, but like the blurb they did today, the next Symbaroum Throne of Thorns book, that's an appealing location to send Steo to, isn't it?
For some quantities of appealing. Yeah, roleplay wise, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in no position to refuse a slug from that, but philosophically, it's a waste on a dying old man.
Sure. Cool. So give me a D10 roll for your. You don't have any corruption, right?
Got a 6.
6, so heal up 6. You don't have any corruption, correct?
I do believe I have 1 permanent corruption noted down here.
Okay.
So I don't know where it came from, but it's on the character sheet.
I don't know. Oh, did it come from going over a corruption threshold?
No, I think it came from the Temple of Very Scary Doom.
Fairy Bite, John suggests, but I don't know. Either way, it's gone.
Yeah. Hooray!
You feel the warmth, whether of general magic or of Prios is up to you, flow through you, and as you take a swig from the bottle. Mike has frozen in an amazing facial position. Can we just flag that quickly? Oh, the vile water, perhaps that was it. Yes, Mike is back with us now, I think. It's all good. So, yes. Are we all dashing out of that gate as a group?
Yes.
Okay.
Arvons is still up and running, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he absolutely is. He's kind of limping slightly compared to his usual sort of flightiness, but he's definitely still with you. So ahead of you is just the ragged edges of the battle. Most of the people are dead. Most of the beasts are dead. And the hunter and the stag are just circling each other, both kind of bloodied and ragged and obviously near the end of their conflict. Ahead of you, there are kind of patches of battle, and you can see the circle of the Karahar warriors around the edge, watching impassively as this all takes place. Where are you striking out to?
Can we see other people fleeing?
You can see other people fleeing. There are several people who are over near the Karahar. On at least one edge of the ring, a small fight has broken out between them. And the others are kind of... You can see people seem to be pleading with the Karahar to be let through the ring. And the Karahar are impassively refusing this.
And this is a ring. It's right the way around the enclosure, or is there a gap?
No. Well, you can't see right the way around the enclosure, but from your side, it is. Yeah, I mean, there is a gap, which is the river to the south, but it is quite a deep and fast flowing river.
I mean, we don't have
this part of me wants to see who wins, like. But the other part of me is aware there's like a fourth. Oh no, the wolf is mush. So yeah, I mean, nothing else can stand up to us with the battle priest on our side.
We want to be heading roughly in a southwest direction, I think, if we want to head back towards Thistlehold, right?
Roughly.
Yeah, but we got to cross the river is the main problem, and I don't think...
We kind of have to head west, I guess, because otherwise we're going through the battle to get to any of the other borders. Is that more or less right?
Mm-hmm.
Ascarai, does your ring get us out of here, do you think?
I very much doubt it. As they said to us when we entered, they weren't going to let us leave. I think we may have to fight our way out. Perhaps heading to where there's already a fight, we might scramble out in the chaos.
Can everyone give me a cunning roll, please? Just because you seem in a bit of a quandary, and I want to give you some potential extra info.
I made it.
I don't make it.
Ascarai, it occurs to you, you're the one who interacted most, closely with Semmel, and perhaps also to a certain degree with the witch, with Girand. This appears to be what the Karahar were trying to prevent. They can't stand here forever, so clearly they are waiting for the conclusion of something. Perhaps if you aid that conclusion in happening, you will be able to escape.
Okay. Perhaps if we try to end this somehow, we can get out.
Well, the elk spared us, and I quite fancy the seeing the end of the elf that turned all my friends into brain-dead idiots.
Agreed. Fucking elf. We might be able to get Gadjaban and possibly the others as well if we stay around to the end.
Can we fight through and get you a clear shot to put some arrows into the elf?
We can try. I guess the choice is we fight that elf or we fight the Karahar, and I'd rather fight the elf.
Yeah.
Irfan shrugs and says, I'm for it. Never liked elves.
You know that chest of gold coins we have? When we get back to Fizzlehold, does anyone object to me spending all 700 Thaler on drink?
Absolutely not.
Right, let's get going.
Okay, so this battlefield is still a place of tremendous violence, but it's broken down into kind of pockets of fights. The surviving Daythalers, the Death Dancers, and the surviving Jakars. Weaving around them is possible, but why don't we see how well we do with that? So let's make two rolls here, and I suspect I may be asking for the same ones for both people. Who's got the highest discreet? I think it's probably Ascarai. What's your discreet?
I have 13.
Okay. And who's got the highest quick?
I only have 10 quick.
10 here as well.
7.
Okay. Well, why don't we make two rolls then? And if Steo's and Ascarai are identical, Steo, why don't you give me a roll against quick at a +2, and Ascarai, why don't you give me a roll against discreet at a +2? Oh!
Nice.
Look at that.
I'm in no position for acrobatics, but still somehow.
I got a 13 on my discreet. So that makes it.
That makes it okay. You weave through the combat that is still happening. At points, it's easy. You can skirt, 10 or so feet wide, and you dash forwards to get yourself into a position where maybe Ascarai can take a couple of shots at this elf. you you reach a clump of fighters who kind of roll across you, but Steo quickly kind of yanks Askarai over to one side, and you dodge around them as well and make your way forward, closer and closer to the elf. And with that, Steo and Anton, can you roll your resolute, please?
Uh-oh.
Because you haven't been within 100 feet of the Eternal Hunter yet.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I pass.
You get a second chance if you fail. Just so you know.
I fail the first one. I pass the second one.
Oh, Anton, you feel something wash over you briefly, and then you kind of just shake your head, and it goes. Steo, for a moment, you feel a rising of the blood, a sense that you want to stride forward and kill and kill and kill again for glory, to empower yourself, to show your dominance over other living creatures. And then it goes, and you blink and realize that perhaps the hunter was trying to take a control of you in the same way he has with all these others. Askarai, let's take a quick look, because I wasn't anticipating using his stats particularly. Let's take a quick look at the Eternal Hunter's defense, shall we?
He's called the Eternal Hunter, lads. I'm not sure this was the most prudent course of action.
The Eternal Hunter has -8 defense.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm gonna step back from how long you have to get a shot in, but you have 2 shots a turn, right?
Yeah.
So let's do something with this. So, give me a bow shot at -8, please.
Okay. I'll need.
This is all among, there are still pockets of fighting around you. Anton and Steo and Earthons, perhaps I can imagine you kind of looking around and holding your weapons ready as Askarai in the middle of you is kind of very carefully taking aim. Ahead of you, the stag and the hunter still kind of circling each other.
Okay. I'll need a 7. I guess there's no advantage on this. I can't.
No advantage. Just a shot at -8.
Nope. I got a 13. I need a 7.
Okay. What are you after out of interest? 7s?
Yeah. 7.
Okay. Okay, that's 1 arrow that flickers by the Eternal Hunter. You don't think either the stag or the hunter even registered it near them, as they circle each other in this huge trampled mass of mud and bodies. Why don't you give me another shot at -8?
Please. Nope, I got a 19.
Okay.
Strictly speaking, not terrible.
The stag and the hunter dash towards each other. The hunter kind of sinks down into a slide and is sliding forwards. It's suddenly, because Askarai, you're focusing on it, it becomes suddenly terribly, terribly clear to you. The hunter is sliding for his spear, still lodged in the side of the stag after centuries, and he's sliding in to take a grasp of it. Whatever he does with it can only help him win this combat. Another turn. Get your first shot in.
Please.
You're kind of infinite arrow. You made it.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you give me another roll just to see what we would have done with the second shot?
Okay.
Although have you got arrows left at this point?
I do. I got a lot before we left. I'm down
you did, yeah.
After these 4, I'll be down to 14. I started with 30 something.
That's fine then.
So I made the other shot as well.
You made the other shot as well. Okay. The hunter slides in under the stag, takes a grasp on the spear, and as he does so, 2 arrows slam into one shoulder, leaving him rearing back. He kind of scrabbles backwards across the ground, looks up in time to snarl with hatred as one of the deer's huge hoofs tramples his head hard down into the dirt. Comes up again, the hunter's head is embedded on the end of the hoof, and it stamps down again, dips its head with a great crash to impale him on the antlers, tosses him to one side. The hunter's body flies through the air, Karahar warriors on the edge of the clearing kind of scrabble backwards away from where the body is heading as it crashes through the tree line somewhere within Davakar. The Eternal Hunter finally comes to rest. His hunt is over. The stag rears up into the air, lows a resounding bellow, and then canters off towards the Karahar warriors. They part very quickly to allow it through. The remaining Jackars flood forth, the pack behind the stag, and disappear into the forest. Everywhere, Daythalers are kind of groaning. Some of them horribly wounded are crying out. Others kind of climbing to their feet and holding their head in their hands. Near you, you see Gujabalgo somehow has survived and is kind of clambering back to his knees, kind of his hands covered in blood, and is kind of going, "What? Oh, what happened?"
Good job, Godchabalgo. You almost killed them all.
Walking forward from the Karahar towards you is the young witch Girind. By her side is Roughneck the Ogre and Semmel of the Iron Pact.
Uh-oh. Game's up.
Maybe, but they should forgive me after that.
Fingers crossed.
They walk up to you. Girind stops, pans her eyes across you, and says, "Not bad work for lowlanders."
Thank you, I suppose. Nearly cost all our lives.
This is done here. The law of the hill, it will not stop. Not for some years, but its power is lessened, and the individual who drove it, well, he's now gone.
Good.
We can give you passage across the river, and then I suggest you leave our forest.
It would be my pleasure.
She turns round and walks off, accompanied by Roughneck. Semmel says, "Yes, well, we get to go home, I suppose."
Yep. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Over the course of the day, you patch yourselves together, patch yourselves up. Many of the Daythalers, the Karahar are good on their word. They provide rafts for anyone who wants to cross to the south side of the river. You find Gadraban clutching his jaw and sore but alive. Vikama as well. Relnara, Vikama, finally is the one to find her on the floor under several Jackars, her knife and her blade wet with the blood of them. She lost her life in the conflict.
I'd like to give her some last rites and prayers, perhaps.
You say the words of Prios over her. The Karahar say that they will take everyone who died in the conflict away and make sure that they are their remains are dealt with as if they were warriors of the tribe. Yeah, sorry.
Just quickly, we take a look on the top of this hill for any remaining elf weapons or stuff.
No, the top of the hill is collapsed. It looks like below there's some kind of maybe an old temple, an old ruin of some kind. You know exactly what maybe you would have expected to find in there. You don't see any immediately things leaping out at you. And to be honest, the gazes of the Karahar warriors now patrolling the clearing make it pretty clear that they don't want you rummaging around down there. Not at least not until the Ambrians are inevitably back in force. Is there anything else you want to do here before you start making your way south again?
I suppose we should take... Should we take Semmel and Gadraban with us?
Semel, Gadraban, and Vikama are happy to carry on their journey with you. They have no cause to be in Davakar at the moment. Semel is very keen to come with you.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm definitely fine with Gadraban and Vikama. I'm guessing it's good.
Sure. Well, over the course of the day, you get yourself together, you pack up, you say your goodbyes to Rolnara, and you cross the river on a raft. You can see several people kind of standing, kind of aimlessly looking around along the riverbank, unsure of how to get back. Vikama encourages you. He says he knows the way south out of the forest. Do you follow his lead, or are you taking any other tack?
I follow his lead. I think if he's heading south, like it's be pretty easy to tell if he's leading us astray.
You leave the riverbank fairly quickly. You travel at a slow pace. Steo, you still have wounds healing. But a couple of days is all it takes. Ultimately, you were never that far from the edge of the forest where you were. You knew that. It was just a case of leaving the taboo Karahar lands. And with 4 days careful travel, finally on the morning of the 5th, you are walking through the underbrush wearily from another day's trek through ahead of you through Davakar, when all of a sudden you walk past a looser, sparer set of trees, and ahead of you, rolling the hills of Ambria, green with grass, a farmstead in the distance with smoke rising up from the chimney. You're back in Ambria, finally free of Davakar for now. There we go. We'll leave that here for this week. What lovely timing. Lovely timing. Thank you so much to everyone for watching this, or playing in this, or stream managing this. It was the final episode of Fever of the Hunt, this little story arc. We have another little story arc to go, and then we might do a little interim story system thing. We're still working through the details of that, but we'll let you know further on it. And then when we come back after that, we'll be starting on Throne of Thorns, the big old Symbaroum campaign, so we can get our teeth into that. If anyone has any questions or comments, pop them in the chat, and John will flag them up here for us to talk about. But in the meantime, let me do my promo stuff. There's a bunch of links down below. There's links to YouTube and Twitch. You're watching on one, why not check out the other? There's links to our Discord. Go there and join and talk to us about roleplay things. There's a link to our Patreon. If you want to support us more, then you can go there and join at one of those patron tiers. There's lots of rewards. There's character creation videos, backstage stuff, patron-only areas of our Discord. Even if you're looking to spend big, you can get me to GM some games for you. Good stuff. There's also our social media down there. We run 3 weekly series, which are Call of Cthulhu on a Monday, which Johnny is the keeper for, and then Vampire the Masquerade on a Tuesday. That's me as well. And then Symbaroum, this on a Wednesday. They all start at 8 o'clock GMT. We have monthly one-shots on the first Saturday of every month. The next one we've got coming up is Morkborg on April the 3rd, which should be really good. And if you're interested in VODs of any of that stuff, it's all on the YouTube. Lots and lots and lots. Hours and hours of content.
For those who may have not watched it live, we have the last week. We also do non live roleplay content, but we just finished doing a roundtable discussion about Symbaroum, which has been recorded and will shortly appear on YouTube, I imagine.
It will appear as soon as we sort out art and stuff.
It was a great conversation. I hope you will join us.
Lovely little conversation.
Asymmetrically.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, Jim.
Yay! Positive feedback. God, I'm exhausted.
That was good. That felt nice and climactic. Woo!
Proper roller coaster.
And
absolutely zero cool loot. I really wanted that spear.
The hunter didn't drag it from the side of the stag, so off the stag.
I was hoping I could find his bow as well, but
and also Karahar made sure that all of the artifacts were secreted away for sure. for sure.
Yeah. Also, Chris, it's maybe a good job that you didn't get that sunstone in the end, so you didn't have the awkward explanation to Vickham.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I was just
Keeping it safe for you.
There you go.
There's the dramatic ending of Steo. Vickham has just that's it, done. Steve has made a very good point. The Roundtable VOD is still on Twitch. Should anyone wish to watch it there before it appears on YouTube. I don't think there's any more comments or questions. I don't think there's any more. Oh, I would love to see a role-playing game where the GM has to actively stop the players from killing their characters. I mean, you just watched it, didn't you?
I love creating characters, and I do try and keep my characters' lifespans pretty short.
Yeah. Well. So, thank you again to everyone for watching. Thank you to everyone for playing. Thank you for John for stream managing. Hopefully that was a nice climactic little ending to that little arc. And we'll see you next week where we'll be starting another arc. And I can exclusively reveal the name of that story arc right here. Although if you own all the Symbaroum stuff and are just following through in order, you'll probably be able to guess what we're doing next. The story will be called The Bell Tolls for Castor. So,
oh dear.
Ominous.
There we go. And I'll let you know more about it as soon as I've read it. So, thank you, everyone. And we will, stay safe out there. We'll see you next week. Goodbye. Goodbye.